Welcome to Today at the Euros, brought to you by the Football Fan Show. I am Danny from the Football Fan Show. Draped in my... I'm the worst kind of superhero. I'm Patriot every 4 years, man. Come on. There you go. Let's just put that over there. Come on. Where are we? It's really long. Can't do it. Can't do it. Keeps falling down. There we go. He's going to fall down. Oh, well. Yes! Come on! Yes! How are we doing today? Sorry, Ukraine. This is going to be a very biased program today. In fact, actually, I'm going to... I know what I'm going to do. I'm gonna move the Coke bottles so that they have a much more prominent position. Yes, they will have a much more prominent position. So yeah. How you doing? We've got a lot to catch up on because we didn't do a show yesterday, so we have to do the due and talk about Denmark. We have to talk about Belgium. We have to talk about Switzerland. We have to talk about Spain. We have to talk about Italia, who are probably the favourites to win, in my opinion. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. You can give us a call, by the way, if you would like to. We're live on Twitch, of course. You can give us a call. Give us a call on Skype or on Twitch. Or the phone number is there. 0333 303 4145. Drop us a line on the emails. thefootballfanshow@gmail.com if you would like to drop us a line, you may do so. Right, England are through to the semi-finals. Although, let's be honest, let's be fair now. Let's be fair and let's be honest here. I'm moving the Coke bottles to the other side because I just am. Because they don't want to be associated with an alcoholic brand. I know they don't. I know how Coca-Cola works, see? There we go. And then we'll move that one. We'll move the Heineken much more centrally. They can be right in front of me. There we go. There we go. Right. Yeah, we've got plenty to talk about today, so thank you very much for joining us. We have plenty to talk about tonight, I should say. Welcome to the programme. I am Danny from the Football Fan Show with a brief catch-up of what has happened today and actually yesterday at the Euros as well. Can't wait to bring you all of that. Main show should be happening tomorrow at lunchtime. Right. Let's get into it then. Starting with England. The almighty England. Fantastic performance today against Ukraine. Good win as well. 4-0. First time they've scored 4 goals in the knockout stages of a competition since, well, a particular final of a certain tournament that saw England beat West Germany. Not that I'm going to mention it because I don't really wish to curse the current crop of players. So let's get into it. England produced. They were magnificent. They were absolutely magnificent out there today. Although they were a bit. They may have gone to sleep a little bit at the end of the first half. I thought maybe. I don't know. But I thought they may have gone to sleep a little bit at the end of the first half. But it wasn't particularly very good at the end of the first half, I thought. But you just gotta. Ukraine were putting them under pressure at the end of the first half, I thought. But anyway, doesn't matter. We still won. So England produced a magnificent display. They thrashed Ukraine. Spoiler alert. It's finished 4-0 in Rome to set up a semi-final visit against Denmark. That's at Wembley, by the way. 60,000 people going to be off their freaking nut Most of these seats behind me are going to be filled. So after beating Germany in the last 16 by 2-0, and I'm sure there were plenty of Ukrainian fans looking to cry for £25,000, because that's apparently what we do now. Manager Gareth Southgate said obviously followed up that performance with this 4-0 win. Harry Kane has actually turned up today. I mean, okay, yes, he got a goal against Germany, and I think that's, the monkey is off his shoulder, so to speak, or off his back, so to speak, because he scored 2 today. Now, I would have been angry if I had been Harry Kane, because he was substituted off for Marcus Rashford, because, strikers are greedy. They want hat-tricks, and hat-tricks at international level aren't incredibly common. But Harry Kane back to his best today. He was struggling in the group stage, but he scored 2 against Ukraine today. Ukraine barely threatened the England team, having reached the last 4 of the World Cup in 2018. I think Ukraine did very well in this tournament. Not the match, but in the tournament, I think they did very well to reach the quarterfinals. I thought that was, fair enough. Fair play to them. Andrei Shevchenko is going to manage in the Premier League at some point. I'm very confident of that. As he goes to AC Milan and completely balls it up. But hopefully he won't, because he'll probably be Chelsea manager at some point. Yeah. So the goals came from Harry Kane on the 4th minute from a set up by Raheem Sterling, who has been the top goal scorer for England at this tournament. Didn't get a goal today, but did set up Harry Kane's goal on the 4th minute. Harry Maguire from a corner on the 56th minute with a header that I initially thought he was offside, so I was happy to be proven wrong about that. Then Harry Kane again on the 50th minute, set up by Luke Shaw. And then Dean Henderson from a corner. 63rd minute coming off the bench. Fantastic. So England they overpowered Ukraine, who just didn't have the quality. I was a little bit worried when they went 1-0 up that Ukraine was starting to press and force England into making potential mistakes. And I think the only mistake that they really made, England, was Jordan Pickford's terrible clearance that came off his he tried to clear it and it came off his boot. Instead of flying forward, it just hit his boot and bounced upwards instead. So it wasn't a very good clearance from him. That's the first mistake he's made all tournament. Other than that, he's been very good. But I know he made a few mistakes for Everton this season. I mean, in the player ratings, none of the Ukrainian players are getting good ratings. I think their highest rated player is their goalkeeper, who produced some decent saves today. He did look like he gave up at one point where he's sat on the floor. I mean, Luke Shaw was fantastic today. He's always, we've talked about it on this show. He's always great going forward. He's not a he's much more comfortable on the front foot than he is playing defensively, which is why maybe Jose Mourinho didn't like him, because obviously when you're playing on the left back position, he wanted him to defend, when Luke Shaw is more of a wing back, likes to be on the front foot, and that's where you see him at his best. And we saw him at his best today as a left wing back, and he was fantastic out there today. So he was brilliant out there today. So yeah, absolutely fantastic from him today. A really good performance from Luke Shaw, who I think was definitely he was man of the match. Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, yeah, I thought he was fantastic. Who else was? Well, Harry Kane obviously turned up. We talked about him getting 2 goals. Raheem Sterling setting up the first goal, and despite not getting on the score sheet today, Raheem still a really good performance from him. Obviously Henderson coming off the bench getting a header, which I think may have been, is that his first? Is that his first England goal at a major tournament for Jordan Henderson? Louis 2K says it's coming home. It is coming home. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Only to be deported by Priti Patel as soon as it gets to the shore. You haven't been home for 40 years. Are you sure you still have a permit? Otherwise, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. That is actually Jordan Henderson's first goal. I thought it was his first goal at a major tournament. No, it's actually his first goal for England. What a way to do it. Considering what Roy Keane said prior to the tournament, which I absolutely laughed my head off, where he was like, "Well, why is Jordan Henderson included? What does he do? What does he do? Why do they want him? Apparently, they want him around. What's he do? Card tricks? Does he have a pub quiz? You know." Does he have a karaoke night? I did love Roy Keane's critique of it before the tournament, but you know, obviously you can't argue with that. And now we finally know that Gareth Southgate will not play. Well, he won't start anyone that plays for a German club. Jadon Sancho, working your ass off for Borussia Dortmund, not in the England team. As soon as he signs for Manchester United, you're in, mate. I don't think Gareth Southgate watches the Bundesliga. So, Gareth Southgate doesn't like players that don't play in England. Oh, and he also doesn't like players that play for Aston Villa. But that's a conspiracy theory. Although they didn't exactly need Jack Grealish today. Why did they play 3 players? My only criticism pre-match was that they played 3 players in the squad that were all on yellow cards. Harry Maguire was on a yellow card prior to the match. So wasn't it? Who else was it? The two central the two pairing in the middle of Phillips and Rice, weren't they? They were on yellow cards as well. So I really didn't understand that. If anything. Okay, I understand Harry Maguire, but at least the 2 in the middle, you can make some changes there to avoid getting them suspended. I mean, I don't wish to be arrogant, but we did just win 4-0, and it was only Ukraine. Denmark next. But England have won 4-0. I'm very happy about this. I'm sure everybody is happy about this. And we now know the secret to getting into an England team. If you play outside of England, just sign for an English club. That isn't Aston Villa. Actually, just sign for Manchester United. It's probably easier. Or Manchester City. Just sign for one of the 2 Manchester clubs and then you get into the England team. I can't believe that. Jadon Sancho. Great season for Borussia Dortmund, not in the England team. Signs for Manchester United. Oh, Jadon, welcome to the England team. Disgusted. Disgraceful. Anyway. Let's catch you up on other non-England action today, because it's not just the England football fan show, because it is today at the Euros, brought to you by the football fan show. Kane's only playing because he's not at Spurs anymore. I mean, hey, at least he turned up today. At least Harry Kane actually turned up. He turned up today, and that my friends, is fantastic. Anyway, I'm just gonna ditch looking like St. George's pimp for a moment, if you don't mind. I'm gonna ditch looking like St. George's pimp. And going to tell you about the game earlier today, which was the Czech Republic versus Denmark. Denmark's in, like, of the two teams that played, I wanted to play Denmark. Sorry, not Denmark. I wanted to play the Czech Republic. And the reason I didn't want to play Denmark is because they have the bit between their teeth. They're bloody dangerous. And they're inspired for obvious reasons by what happened in the Denmark-Finland match. That is a powerful motivator. And they're playing beyond themselves at the moment. They're playing beyond their level. Denmark's impressive and emotional campaign is set to continue. They're in a semi-final. They will play this lot, the 3 Lions. Get a lion bar. No Saka and England score 4. I loved, going back to the England game, I loved how the BBC's commentary were like, yeah, Manchester United are getting this, twinkle toes here, because he was darting through players Sancho. But other than that, he was caught offside a few times. But that's why it stands for Biased Broadcasting Corporation. I shouldn't say that. I did used to work for them. So, very middle class, the BBC. I will say that. Not a lot of working class people there. Then again, I say I'm working class and I'm on Twitch. So, you know. Take what you will. Make it political. The Biased Broadcasting Corporation. I don't work there anymore. Wow. I haven't worked there since 2019. It wasn't my choice to leave. Otherwise, I'd still be... No. Anyway, back to the Danes. The Great Danes. They're on a roll. They've gone from strength to strength in this tournament since, obviously, the Finland game. Having hammered Wales in the last 16, they're really impressed today, I thought, against the Czechs, who... They didn't have an answer, despite getting a goal back. So, Delaney's 5th minute goal gave Denmark the lead early on, and Dolberg with the 42nd minute. Sheik got a goal back in the second half on the 49th minute for the Czech Republic. And obviously, Denmark won in 1992. When they didn't even qualify for the tournament. Yugoslavia were kicked out of the tournament because they had a small business of a civil war to settle. So Yugoslavia were kicked out of that tournament, and Denmark took their place and ended up winning it. Even though I think one of the Laudrup brothers went, you know what, I'm just going to spend my time... I think it was Michael Laudrup. He just went, I'm going to spend my time on a beach. You play this tournament that we're probably not going to do very well in, and I'll stay on the beach. And they ended up winning it. So yes, Denmark are through to this game. They led on the 5th minute where Thomas Delaney evaded his marker to head in from a corner. A continual threat to break in. The Czechs made it 2-0 before half-time. Kasper Dolberg volleying a superb cross from a melee from Joachim Miley. To add the second, to add to the 2 goals he scored against Wales. I think I did. Louis 2K points out that the Danish were always a dark horse. Honest, I think a few people did expect them to pull off a surprise, and then after the first game, no, I had heard that. I think the big dark horses of the pundits, which turned out to be an absolute dumpster fire, was Turkey. Because they were like, oh, they're the dark horses. No, they're not. They just got spanked by everybody. So the pundits don't know. But yeah, there were, people were saying, Denmark could do very well here. It is another fairy tale for the Danes. And of course, have booked their place in the semi-final against this lot. I don't know who this lot are, but looking forward to it. Denmark 2, Czech Republic 1. So, before we go into the semi-finals, we have to tell you about Friday night's games, as we didn't do a stream Friday night. I mean, I heard that lot aren't too good, says Louis 2K. They only beat Ukraine 4-0. Well, they drew 0-0 against Scotland. They can't be that good, can they? The other quarterfinals. So, justice was done Friday at just before 7 p.m. or after 7 p.m. Was it after 7 p.m.? I think it was after 7 p.m. on the on the Friday. Footballing justice was done as Switzerland tried to shithouse their way into another victory. And when I say shithouse their way, they wanted penalties, they got penalties against probably the worst team on penalties. Even England have been replaced as the worst team on penalties. They tried to shithouse their way against Spain, and they frickin' paid the price for it. They tried to do the same thing that they did against France. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that is the moral of Switzerland trying to win on penalties. Twice. You did it against France and you scored all your penalties, and then you had the world-class Kylian Mbappe, who really hadn't turned up this tournament, missing a penalty, and France are out. And then you tried to do the same thing against Spain. An own goal on the 8th minute gave Spain the lead, although it was a weird own goal because it was the goal, as I recall, it was Jordi Alba. His shot was deflected, and I didn't see the deflection, so I just counted it as a Jordi Alba goal. But it did take a deflection, and it took a deflection of Zakaria on the 8th minute. I thought it was just a Jordi Alba goal. Shaqiri equalised on the 68th minute, and then Switzerland were down to 10 men on the 77th minute, which meant that they were going to shithouse their way, and they were just going to shove 10 men behind the ball and defend. And then it came to penalties, and Spain won 3-1, even though Spain had already missed a penalty in this game, were notoriously shit at penalties, and have been for a long time. Not just this tournament is not where they've been just awful at penalties. They have been awful at penalties for pretty much the last 2 years. They've been pretty terrible. I mean, they've missed, I think it's now 7 penalties. If you exclude penalty shootouts, they have now missed 7 penalties in a row in standard play. Taking penalties out of it, obviously now they've had a bit of practice in against Switzerland. So 3-1, Spain won. And the big game was Belgium versus Italy. Now, I'm going to get to Belgium in a bit, and I'm going to get to their manager, Roberto Martinez, in a bit. But Italy, we talk about Switzerland being shithouses. That last 10 minutes from Italy was the art of the shithouse. Oh no, I've hurt my leg. I need to go down for how many? 4 minutes? 4 minutes? 4 minutes. Yeah, I just need the physio to come on. Oh no, he's pushed me over. I need 2 minutes on the ground. Only one player, I can't remember who it was. One player at the end did pull their cruciate ligament, and yeah, it was just, and they're out. All right, and I can't remember who was it. Trying to find out because but yeah, Spain's tactics towards the end there, EastEnders level acting from the Italians. Mwah. Give them a national soap award. Give them a national television award for their play acting. Absolute shithousery. But then the Italians always do that. So why are we surprised? Why are we surprised? The Italians always do that. It's peak shithousery. I love it. Although I won't love it if they did it against England. Who do you think the best defender was of the match? It is, if that's the Italian game, I mean, it's Chiellini because he scored. Well, he nearly scored. I think it was ruled out. He nearly scored. But Chiellini, for the age he is, mwah! Immobile. Oh, yes. They were just shithouses. Absolute shithouses. And I love it as long as it's not against England. But England don't do that. I wish we did that. I wish we had done that against Ukraine. Like, 4-0 up, just go down, waste 5 minutes. It'll be fine. Are you saying the Italians are drama queens? I suppose I am. No. I don't. Are they? I suppose I am. But that's typical Italian tactics. They just go down and waste a few minutes. That's what they do. Generally, that's what they do. By the way, to answer your question, Day Spring Summers, welcome to the chat. If you Chiellini for the Italian game, for the England game, I mean, you've got you know, it's got to be Maguire for the goal, but I think we were pretty solid defensively because we were just passing it about the back. It was nice to see that we went back to a back four because we don't need a back three against Ukraine. And obviously when Gareth Southgate, before the Germany game was saying, well, I picked the squad, I picked the formation, and if I get it wrong, I'm dead. Because he would have been. If I had a girlfriend, I wish she was Italian, says Dayspring Summers. I would be inclined to agree with you. Not taking this to a sexist place. Louis 2K. Imagine being 4-0 up and still bringing on subs. Ukraine would... Yeah, they were going to bring on 3 subs. They didn't even get to do that. They had 3 subs lined up for added on time. And the referee just went, you're 4-0 down, mates. You're not getting any added on time. That would be the most pointless thing ever. I'm going to end the game on the 90th minute. I've not seen that in a very long time. I don't think I've ever seen it at a major tournament where the ref has gone, you have no chance of getting back into this. You might have 3 players lined up on the touchline. You ain't bringing them on. I'm ending it there. I've never seen that. That's wonderful. Great. We were overly worried because I don't know whether this was an excuse prior to the game. I think it's an excuse because all the media was like, German referee. Who did England beat in the last 16? They beat Germany. We've got a German referee. Referee was fine. Referee did his job. He earned his money, and it was fantastic. And a Spanish fourth official. Shithousery from German refs. It was dead on 90 minutes. Yeah, to be fair, they had no chance. But to have 3 substitutes lined up. Dayspring Summer. Yes. Goes down for 2 minutes. Well, I swear, they bring on the physio, the Italians, and they're like, how long do I have to? I'm not going to do an accent. That would be problematic for my future. I don't want to get cancelled. That's a genuine fear. They'd be like, how long do I have to? Physio. How long's left? 4 minutes. How long are we going to make? Can we make this 4 minutes? Can we make it 4 minutes? 4 minutes? Cool. Oh, my leg! Oh, it's been blown off. I think he had a rocket launcher and he just fired it at me. There's a Harry and Paul sketch where that actually happens. Fantastic. But according to FIFA 2K, they always add time even if it's 9-0, so it's official. They do. FIFA, we were playing FIFA earlier, in which I dropped the C-bomb, and I really wish to apologise for that. But yes, it was not great. But back to the Italian game from Friday night. Italy have set up their mouth-watering tie with the Spanish. Now, Italy are clearly the favourites for that, because the Spanish, no offence to you guys, you don't have any firepower up front. Although you have won 2 games 5-0 now. You won 2 games in a row 5-0, and then obviously drawing 1-1 with the Swiss. But the group stage performances from Spain showed that they had no firepower. But the game may have not been a goal fest for Italy like in recent ties. I mean, they beat Austria 2-1 in extra time. They have arguably been the best team of the tournament, but the Azzurri were 2 goals up, and it took them 13 consecutive wins in 32 games without defeat. And goals from Barella on the 31st minute, Insigne on the 44th minute, and Lukaku got a penalty on the 45th minute +2 because it was first half stoppage time. And can I just say, okay, so imagine if Big Sam didn't get involved in the scandal. I know. I said this 3 years ago. We need to give the journalist that got Big Sam Allardyce fired a knighthood. He should be on the... Boris, give the man an MBE. Or woman. Give him an OBE. Fucking knight him. Fucking knight him for services to football. Fucking knight him. Get the quick... Ew! You have to knight him. He got Big Sam Allardyce sacked. Although, let's be honest, fuck Alf Ramsey. Big Sam is the greatest England manager ever. Hope you don't take this the wrong way, but you look like one of my youth recruits for my FIFA career mode. I'm 27! Apparently I look like an 18-year-old, so that's fine. I still, sometimes, if I shave all this off and without the face mask, I sometimes get ID'd for lottery tickets, and you have to be 16 to buy lottery tickets. Yes, I take it as a compliment, my youthful expression and look. Yeah, Big Sam, the only England manager with a 100% record. Greg Sausage Rolls, that's what it's all about. By the way, Day Spring Summers, I hope that youth player is as fucking passionate as me. Because I fucking scream at everybody. You should see me watch play Football Manager. I absolutely scream. I'm always on the game clicking the throwing the water bottle option at the end of matches when they've lost 1-0 against a team that they probably should have lost against. Anyway, so the Azzurri are through. We'll go to we'll do a roundup of European Championship news as well. But obviously Italy are through. So I want to talk about Belgium here, and I think somebody mentioned it in the chat, Roberto Martinez, and I'm trying to scroll up. If you mention Roberto Martinez, Day Spring Summer, then you've got me. I am your youth player. He has passion, but he isn't very good yet. Essentially me. My style of football is very much Leeds United from the 70s. I have pace. I don't have stamina. I run out I'm knackered very quickly. And if you get the ball, and I am playing at centre back, trust me, I'm going in 2-footed and I'm breaking your fucking leg. Leeds, Don Revie's Leeds. God, one of the worst teams ever. And they won loads of fucking trophies because they bloody played dirty. Anyway, back to Belgium. Imagine trusting the guy that was relegated with Wigan Athletic in charge of the greatest group of players in the history of Belgium's national team. And they had a golden generation before, which was arguably just as good, but not as good as these guys. I mean, Lukaku's the greatest striker in Belgian history. And Belgium, individually, have fantastic players. Eden Hazard, Thorgan Hazard is fantastic. Lukaku cannot be... I won't hear any arguments against him being one of the best strikers in the world. They've also got Kevin De Bruyne, one of the best players in the world. They've got Thibaut Courtois, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Okay, he had a ropey start to Real Madrid. Exactly. You get £25,000 if you cry at a footy game. Belgium have been consistently good in matches that don't matter. But individually, they're very good. As a team, they're fucking atrocious. They don't play as a team. It reminds me of England's so-called golden generation. Gerrard, Lampard, Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney, Beckham. Like the 2006 World Cup team. Individually, great players. Collectively, below par. That's better. Not crap. Not shit. Belgium, collectively, are below par. That's a better one. Belgium collectively are below par. They give below par performances. Is that down to a manager that has zero international experience prior to taking over at Belgium? I thought Beckham was American. Nah, have you not heard his squeaky voice? He comes from kind of London way. I'm David Beckham. Yeah. A guy that good looking, and yet he has one of the squeakiest voices ever. There is a God. I'm not religious, but there is a God. Because that's justice. You can't be that fucking ridiculously good looking and have nothing wrong with you. So he's got a squeaky voice. Justice. So Belgium trusted Roberto Martinez, who was relegated with Wigan Athletic. Yes, he won the FA Cup with Wigan against Manchester City. By the way, the Italian manager winning that, knocking Belgium out for beating his Manchester City team. So, Roberto Mancini getting payback for that FA Cup final defeat to Wigan. And then he went to Roberto Martinez this time, went to Everton, and I think we can all agree he failed. He failed there. So you're trusting a guy that got Swansea City promoted. Actually, no, did he get... No, he didn't even get Swansea City promoted. A guy that managed Swansea in the Championship, Wigan Athletic in the Premier League and won the FA Cup, but then got relegated. And then managing Everton to 0 degrees of success. You're trusting him with one of the best generations in your national team's history. Okay, let's take a pause and have a look at international World Championship winning managers that have won major tournaments, including the World Cup and Euros. So, if I just... Because I had a look at this yesterday. So I had a look at the World Cup winning managers. I had a look at European Championship winning managers. So, obviously, you have, starting with the obvious one, Del Bosque, who I believe has not retired from football management. Of course, Vicente Del Bosque won the World Cup in 2010 for Spain and the Euros in 2012. Okay, yes, that team was already there and had already won the 2008 Euros under a previous manager. But if you've got the cash, why not offer him the job? Because he's already won trophies. Marcelo Lippi. Is he retired yet? No. He hasn't actually retired. So, maybe convince him. You've also got the fall from grace of the excellent World Cup winner and former Portugal manager and Chelsea boss, Luis Felipe Scolari. Now, Scolari has proven that he is an atrocious manager. He is a piss-poor club management record. But with the national team, won the 2002 World Cup. Okay, in his second spell at Brazil, it did not work in 2014. Let's skip that and say, maybe look at him for the Belgium job? I mean, this is all hypothetical. To be honest, it's too little too late for the Belgian team because most of them are all in their 30s and arguably their best defender is now the manager of Anderlecht. So, you trusted Roberto Martinez, who has 0 international experience, instead of getting a proven winner. I mean, Joachim Löw's available. Why not approach him? He's a World Cup winner. I did message a friend yesterday to say, imagine a Belgium team managed by Vicente Del Bosque. Oh, the football that they would play. It's... Oh, that's all I can say. But they need a proven manager. They don't have that. Roberto Martinez, I would be very surprised if he leads them into the World Cup next year. Because you can win all the qualification matches you want and go top of the world rankings. The world rankings mean jack shit. They mean zilch. They mean nothing. The number one team doesn't always win. So they need a manager with actual experience at winning major tournaments. Vicente Del Bosque, Luis Felipe Scolari, at a stretch Marcelo Lippi. I don't think you'd get any of them. Well, actually, maybe you'd get Scolari. Maybe he's desperate to be in the limelight. I think he's managing in the Brazilian third division now. That's how far his career's fallen. Louis 2K saying that was about 10 years ago. Yes. Yeah. The 2010 World Cup. Yeah. When they put that generation of players. Dayspring Summer says, I have absolutely no idea what you're saying is true, but I believe you. That's because I speak with a British accent, and most people, I don't know whether it's scientifically proven. In fact, I'll say it's scientifically proven. Everything is more convincing with a British accent. Everything is more convincing with a British accent. So if you ever hear a Brit say jump off a cliff, don't do it. No matter how convincing they are, don't then go and jump off the cliff. That would be very bad. So, let's get the European Championship news. So, this is the first European semi-final for England since '96, Euro '96, and we got knocked out then by the Germans. Now we've already eliminated the Germans. We've got the Danes in the semi-final, but it's 25 years since that. And we were talking about before the Germany game that the FA were looking to give Gareth Southgate a new contract regardless of that result. And we kind of said that, you know, he is a bit of a yes man. You know what? And I'll sit here and I will remind you of what I said after the Scotland game. When England drew 0-0 with Scotland, I said, sack Southgate now. Because you don't draw against Scotland. And now I sit here and feel like the biggest fucking idiot ever. So I'd like to apologise to Gareth Southgate. I still don't think you're a good manager, but you're good enough. You've been through the right experiences to make you good enough for this England team. Joachim Löw's not a good manager. Look at his club management record. He might have won a World Cup, but look at his club management record. It is absolutely atrocious. Trust me on that. You do not have to be a good manager to win a World Cup or a European Championship. You have to be a good coach. Or you have to have similar experiences. Maybe you've played for the national team or something, like Roberto Mancini. So, before we get to the semi-finals, and I tell you who's playing who, Roberto Martinez has refused to comment on his Belgian future following their quarter-final exit. He said it's quote-unquote too raw. Of course, they were eliminated by Italy, and the Red Devils exited the competition at the quarter-final stage as they did 5 years ago in France when they were beaten 3-1 by Wales. Martinez has signed a contract extension through to 2022's World Cup in Qatar, but the 47-year-old has been linked with a return to club football this summer. However, there are no jobs available in the Premier League. He will not be managing in the Premier League. And if he does return to England, it will be in the Championship, because he will not be getting a Premier League job, because there are no jobs left in the Premier League. Crystal Palace have Patrick Vieira. I'm excited about that, by the way. I hope Patrick Vieira does well at Crystal Palace. I want him to do well. I want Patrick Vieira to do well at Palace so badly. I love Patrick Vieira. I need him to do well. I want him to do well. Maybe bring Thierry Henry in as his assistant, because Thierry Henry shouldn't be a manager. He's rubbish. But maybe he can help. Patrick Vieira, Crystal Palace manager. Do well. Do well. Although they apparently have £80 million to spend. Martinez, who signed a contract extension up until the 2022 World Cup, after his 2-1 defeat, his side's 2-1 defeat to Italy, he said, well, obviously, this is a moment that is very, very difficult to speak anything else than the defeat and that we are out of the Euros. As I say at the moment, it's still too raw, and I do not want to say anything that could be seen as emotional. At the moment, all I want to do is look back into this tournament, and I would say that the players have done nothing wrong. It is the opposite. Well, collectively, they were below par when it was required that they step up. Maybe it was because most of these guys play for clubs that are rivals to each other. But, you know, maybe the same problem that affected England all the way back in 2006, 2010. But I now view Italy as my personal favourites to win this tournament. However, every time I've had a favourite, they've often gone out. So let's have a look at the semi-finals. The first one is on Tuesday at 8 p.m. UK time. And it is Italy versus Spain. Italy versus Spain, Tuesday, the 6th of July at Wembley Stadium. And then on the Wednesday, it is the Three Lions. It is England versus Denmark at Wembley again. And then on Sunday, the final between the winner of Italy-Spain and England-Denmark at Wembley. Will the Three Lions book a Wembley appearance? Will the Danes prove that they are once again great? The Great Danes beat the English and move forward to a second European Championships final. Will the Spanish, despite their pretty poor firepower, manage to get past the ever-pressing, ever-attacking, ever-shithousing Italian team? And if Italy, who are my favourites, do win, I often quote Brian Clough by saying his famous quote of saying, I don't think I'm the best manager, but I'm in the top one. His quote of, would I say I'm the best manager? No, but I'm in the top one. So there you go. That's misquoting him. I'm going to get the actual quote. What did he say? I wouldn't say I was the best manager in the business, but I was in the top one. That is what Brian Clough said. Now, if Italy, because I often quote Brian Clough, if Italy were to win this tournament, Roberto Mancini, I challenge you at the end of this tournament, if Italy do win, to come out and say this. I wouldn't say I'm the best manager, but I would say that I'm the best looking. And with that, we end today at the Euros. And we'll be back tomorrow for the Football Fan Show. And we'll be back Tuesday, Wednesday, and of course, after the European Championship final. One more time. Come on. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. St. George's pimp is home. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home.